and I'm sitting here with my co-host.
I'm the man with the buttery voice, the number one choice to keep all the ladies moist, DJ Jess the Facts. And how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling good. I had a pretty good day, so I'm in great spirits.
That's right. So tell me about this. You started our session off burning. It's not sage, but what is this?
This is Palo Santo. The last time we were in the studio, it was a little bit bad vibes. So Palo Santo is great for getting rid of not all the vibes in the room like sage. It's just going to get rid of the bad vibes and keep the good vibes. So I like to carry some on me. You just burn a little, set your intentions. I put it over my body, over other people. And sometimes I go all about the room.
I think it's already worked.
Yeah. I don't play around though. I'm that weirdo. Like it doesn't matter. I'm on sets, photo shoots. I pull this out and some people are like, "What are you doing?" But it's from Argentina.
Okay.
Yeah, it's from Spain, but be careful where you get it from because a lot of people the sources like they're just, being reckless chopping down trees, not really respecting Mother Earth when they're taking it. So I have a couple of sellers that I get from on Etsy that they're good sources and they're not harming Mother Earth, etc. So
That's right.
But to jump into it, one of the topics that I wanted to touch on today was dating in 2021 and being single in 2021. Because some people, they're just not dating. They're scared of COVID and the germs. Or it's just a little bit harder with stuff being closed. I mean, stuff did open up a little bit for a bit. But have you been dating during COVID right now?
Not really. Like, there's one girl that I see more often, but it's not really dating. You know what it is.
Oh, it's just sex.
That's what it is. But
what is there no potential to date here? Is that why? It's
of
just
course,
sex?
no. I'd love to see it go long term, but she breaks up with me every other week.
Wow.
Because she's crazy.
Situationship then is what it is. That
yeah, it's just
it's not really a casual hookup. If there's breakups happening, etc.
I think that I just don't meet all of her checklists, and so I'm really good at sex. And so I meet that part of the checklist.
What does that mean?
But everything else, I think I'm not clicking, and so, and we're in relationships, sometimes to break the loneliness, but also, and sometimes to fill these voids, but it's not always filling the entire void, if that makes sense.
That makes sense. So for you, does she fill all the voids?
Yeah, I'm a fan of her. I'm
so wait,
I'm a fan of her.
Why is she not a fan of you?
But she's not a fan of me because
what's the check? What are you not living up to?
Listen, okay, so
yeah,
I'm
drop the dirt.
Yeah, I'm still very much involved in hip hop music. I'm very much involved in the entertainment world, and I work a lot, and I have a lot of kids, and so a lot of my time is spread very, very thin. So, it's easy when I'm gone for long periods of time. It's easy to say, "Oh, fuck that dude."
Yeah.
He's not here. He doesn't.
So basically, her love language is quality time. And
yeah,
you're not...
and I don't have that.
Are you good at though making your presence be felt even when you're not there? Because I feel like I'm super good at that. So even if I am busy, and I'm super romantic, so I'm like the type where I may be busy, but all of a sudden, wherever you're going to be out that day, you get a delivery. Or I'm like, hey, check that. I think I left something in my jacket downstairs, and there's something in there.
Oh, see, you got savvy, you got romance.
Yeah,
I don't have that.
I keep stuff alive until when I want to.
I wish I had that. I wish I had the zeal for that, but my brain is constantly thinking of ideas for music and
reminders.
For work and
we've got technology all around us. Be like, remind me to text so and so.
I know.
At 12:30, have it go off every 4 hours, and you're like, hey, checking on you. You just got to do stuff like that. If you're not consciously always thinking about the person, it's important to know whoever you're going after their love language.
Yeah.
And for them to know yours in return, or else it's just not gonna It's not going to work.
I read a book about that, the positive affirmation,
Yeah.
you know, and all those good different love languages, but I don't think I've applied it yet. So I should. I
Yeah,
should. But
yeah.
I think maybe I'm selfish. Maybe I'm self-absorbed. Maybe I'm just really busy. That's a possibility
No, no.
too.
I'm busy. I know people that are extremely busy and they still make time. And maybe they have help with that time though. Maybe they're like I said, setting reminders and having the assistant be like, you know, the front desk person or assistant being like, "Oh, I'm going to send flowers." Maybe they're having other people help them out, but they're still kind of making somewhat of an effort. And I think that is extremely important, especially if you're saying I'm into this person.
I
Why
am.
not?
I
Well,
like
show
it.
it. Show it. Not just sexually. Show it in other ways because it sounds like you're showing it sexually only.
I put it down.
How do you know you're putting it down?
Sexually,
How
I
do you
put
know
it down.
How do you know that?
Okay. Do you really want the? You really
Yeah,
want the
I want the
juice?
details. I don't know, but I
Okay.
don't know if I want the juice, but the
Okay.
details are.
Look, the details is I'm able to give her multiple orgasms every time
How do you know they're not fake?
because I know I can tell, and she says that to me too, and I'm gonna be very candid. She'll always say I love your dick, and I'm just like okay.
How do you know she's not just a dirty talker? And
No, because
now
she-
this is the real deal.
No, it's the real deal because with the eyes rolling and I made her go unconscious one time.
Oh my god!
No joke. I'm not kidding.
How long was she out?
Not very long, but she went out but it's multiple orgasms, so I know that I'm putting it down. I know that for a fact.
Okay.
But you know, as far as being available, and I'm just busy, and
Yeah.
it's unfortunate, and I wish I could. I really wish I had more time. Wish I.
Yeah, but even like I said, if you don't have time, there's ways to go about making your present feel felt. Like it's hard for me if somebody's love language is quality time too, because I don't like to be smothered. I like when people have their independence and they're a little busy with work. I like that. I admire it. But I dated a guy who was like that where I mean I lived with him and I didn't talk to him sometimes. Like he would just be in his work, just in the zone, and 5 days would go by and he'd be like coming up for air. And I'm just like, let me tell you something, you will get cheated on.
Yeah.
If I am with somebody like this long term, I'm gonna end up like getting a connection with somebody else. You can't shut down like that. And if you need to be away, I can respect that. I actually don't have a problem with that. But you better be at least romantic. I better be waking up to flowers. There better be little notes. You pull out the stops.
I
There
write
better
poetry. I write poetry. I cook eggs.
Where's the poetry? Are you like sending like little telegrams or something?
No, no. I'll write it. I'll write it old fashioned with a pen. I write it. I send texts and I'm
but-
really good at poetry.
Well, obviously you're not doing enough.
I know.
if she's still-
I know,
So,
but it's,
you're
every
gonna
other week I
continue-
get a breakup.
Well, eventually it's gonna stick. So you have to decide whether it's worth it for you to kind of step up. Because for me, if somebody's worth it, I don't give a fuck how busy I am, what mood I'm in. I'm gonna be like, okay, let me try to make this person feel special for like 2 seconds. It's worth my time. It's worth my effort. I think more people need to do that, and they wonder why there's all these like the passion kind of dies, or you know, whatever the case may be, or people, you know, they're just like somebody else kind of comes in and swoops in because you're not.
That could happen, but I put it down in the bedroom, so I don't think I have to worry about that.
That's not
It's
enough,
just
though.
a spiritual. If there's
Yeah,
a
but
spiritual
she's gonna-
connection or somewhere
exactly.
else, that could happen.
And then she might be willing to let your ass go and be like, nah, fuck that.
And
then you're fine with it.
And that might be what it is, you know. And I'll have to cross that bridge when I cross it. But I try to do my best. I wake up every day.
Well, your best isn't enough. So
Yeah, I
you
wake up
gotta-
I wake up
That's
every
what we're
day.
coming to the conclusion. Your best is not enough.
That's true.
Step it
Or
the
she's
fuck up.
crazy. Maybe
Oh
she's
my
crazy.
God.
Is that a possibility? Can we not rule that out?
No, I think she's just in some toxic, you know, she's in some lustful like place. And she's holding on to the toxic relationship that's not fulfilling because the sex is good. And you
That's
know,
probably true. That sounds accurate.
is she younger or older?
She's about the same age.
Oh, okay. I was gonna try to give her an excuse, like, oh, she young.
No. She's,
But she's like closer to your age. Yeah.
you know who she used to date was Marlon Wayans.
Oh. He's a funny guy.
He is a funny guy.
Yeah, he's. You know what? I usually don't like goofy men, but I kind of was feeling him a little bit, and I usually am not into the goofiness.
Yeah, he's intelligent and
Yeah, but usually men like that. They're too goofy. Everything's a joke. Laughing all the time. I'm just like, serious conversations can't happen. But there's something about him. He also is like goofy, but he didn't go all the way like Ace Ventura, Pet Detective goofy.
But yeah.
Well, not all that. At least not what I've seen. So he's still doable.
Yeah. So let me ask you, what are you doing dating in 2021?
I went through a breakup in January, and I was still actually platonically hanging out with my ex of like we've been dating on and off for like 2 years, but it was strictly platonic. We didn't talk for a few months, and then we started hanging out a lot because we're almost kind of codependent on one another.
But no sex.
No sex. I told him no. He was kind of lacking in the sensuality department.
Oh, poor guy.
Mainly because he's scared of like being vulnerable and like like for me, I'm just like, if you can't like let your guard down and like do things my way, then this isn't happening. And he tried to call my bluff, and when I say something, I mean it. So that was a done deal. So we hung out a lot still afterwards, and we basically hung out up until my birthday. And a few weeks before my birthday, I did say, you know what, I need to start. I can't be hanging out with my ex every weekend because we're not hooking up, but we're like cooking, we're eating together, we're blah blah blah.
You can't move on like that. You're still living in the past a little bit.
We were a little codependent, so I was just like, I'm going to start dating. And I ended up meeting somebody when I was out, and we've been, just slowly getting to know each other. And so that's been interesting because I met him when I was out. I hate online dating. I fucking hate that shit. I know a lot of you love it. I have friends that love it. They go on like 3-4 dates a week. But to me, first dates suck. Like, I have to be like, hi, what do you do? This and that. It's all the surface level stuff, and I'm a very deep person. So for me, it just feels like being on a very slow, boring merry-go-round going on a first date. And I'm just not really impressed by people online. Like, a lot of people I'm attracted to, I probably would pass them up online because you have to make yourself look attractive online. It's different. It's a different ball game. So, I ended up meeting this person when I was out, and we've been getting to know each other, and that's been great because I was on online dating, and the type of weirdos that I was fucking encountering, like, one of the guys sent me a message and was just like, hey, I've never been with a black woman before. I'm newly single. If you would let me try you for a night, I'll take care of you in a big way, not just sexually, but financially. I'm just like, this is what.
So you were solicited.
Yeah, this is
okay.
what I reported his account. I was like, okay, no, I'm not. And it made me delete the app because I was just like, I can't deal with this. But a lot of the guys on there are just super thirsty. I had another one. He was calling me, he was like, hey, let's get on the phone. And I was just like, oh, well, we just started talking. He's like, I don't like small talk. And I'm like, okay, this motherfucker's a little aggressive, but I'm going to go with it. And so I was like, fine, let's talk on the phone. And I think he was drunk. He was just telling me that, he was blessed with a big dick and king energy and all this. And I just was like, look, I got to go. And he was like, you don't have a fucking sense of humor. Then he started cussing me out. And I'm just like, this is why. Like, you have to have a really open mind if you're going to do online dating. It's similar to like if you've ever done sales, like door-to-door sales. Like, you have to usually cold call 100 people, and then 10 people you'll probably get. So think of online dating the same way, where it's like you have to talk to 100 motherfuckers, and there's probably going to be like a handful that are going to be fine, that you're going to want to go on a date with, but you're going to kiss a lot of frogs before that.
So which app do you use? What do you recommend for?
I would say Hinge is the best one, even though I'm banned from Hinge right now. Hinge unbanned me. No, I'm dating somebody right now. But I don't want to put all my
How'd you get banned?
I don't know. I think it was when my ex-boyfriend came back around. I I was dating somebody else. And honestly, he was getting on my nerves. He just had like, he was kind of small. I feel like he had short man syndrome. He was fucking annoying. And I told him I thought he was shallow. I told him this a couple of times. He's like, I'm not shallow. He was telling me that he didn't want to date a woman with a child because he didn't know what her vagina was going to feel like afterwards. And I was just like, there wouldn't be second babies if it was that bad. Okay, like, and he was just like, well, my wife can't carry a baby. Like, I'm going to get a surrogate because I need her to still be with me and drink. And, like, I don't want, and I was just like, obviously I don't have kids, but the conversations that we were having were just disgusting. I think we were on about 7 dates, but my ex came back around and I ghosted him. And this guy was really petty. He was telling me petty stuff about his exes. So I ended up just ghosting him. And then when me and my ex broke up like 4 months later, I tried to go back on it. It was like, you have been banned.
Maybe somebody blocked you.
Yeah, it was either him or it had to be him because it had to be him. I don't know who else it could be. I never got in an argument on there, so he was a sour. Petty motherfucker. So
and he was short too, so it wouldn't put it past him.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: So when it comes to sex, though, so let's say you've already gone the date, now you're in a relationship, now you're there. What are some of your favorite bedroom positions?
I'm not a person that has like a list of stuff in sex. I'm all about the connection, chemistry, and sensuality, and like foreplay, and like kind of where that leads us. That's why it's hard for me to date people that don't want to be vulnerable or get kind of close. But I guess if it's just like you're just having like a quickie, or it's just one of those raunchy, wild nights, I mean, of course, who doesn't love like doggy style? That's always great. I love being laying flat, like on my stomach.
That's my favorite.
That's always one of my go-tos.
I don't even know what that's called, but that's my favorite one.
I'm so bad. I'm like, I work in the adult industry, obviously on the business side, but I have no idea what the names of most sexual positions are besides missionary, doggy style. I like being on top too, depending on the vibe,
If he's got a cute face or not. If he's got a cute face, you'll be on top?
No. I'm not shallow. Like, I've dated a lot of ugly men. That's not my number one. It's not looks. I like, I'm attracted to power. I'm attracted to confidence. So that's why I said about online dating, like,
you miss all that.
It's an energy that I'm kind of into. So when a cute face is a bonus, obviously, but I've dated some.
You dated some gremlins?
I dated some people where everybody was like, whoa, that's who Jasmine's dating? I'm like, you know what? He's a boss. Like, he's got boss energy and he is a boss. So for me, that's attractive. I'm attracted to power because I like to have power. So
let me ask you this. So in the bedroom, I know that there's certain, dominance, and I can kind of sense from you that you have some sort of dominant, some sort of, like you're saying, you like that power, you like that boss energy. Does that translate into the bedroom with
and
you?
Not all the time. Sometimes I'm a dynamic human being, so that's gonna happen. But I don't want to date somebody who wants to be submissive. You have to. The men that I'm with, this is always a difficult thing for me. I'm a very changeable human being. One moment I'm this, next moment I'm that. Somebody needs to be like that too, because yes, I'm dominant, but if somebody's expecting that every fucking time, that's a problem for me. It's boring, but I do like to be dominant at times, and I need somebody who's comfortable enough that where they're not feeling like it's not as masculine or whatever the case may be, or afterwards they're like curled up in a ball on the floor
sucking their thumb,
because then I'm probably gonna get a little nasty to you. What about you? Are you like more of a submissive in the bedroom or dominant?
Look, like I said, I put it down. So I like to be.
That's up for debate, though, right?
Well,
we got to get some of these girls on here.
I could get a panel. I could get a panel to
I would
to
love
vouch.
that. I would love that.
But-
Roll them through.
but
I want
I'm-
to see a little video clip. Jesse's amazing.
Well, look, I do have a video. I told you. I think I told you one time.
Yes,
I
the
do have
infamous
one porno video that I shot and made made a song to it that tells the storyline of it, and it's basically
We're waiting for you to release it on ItsMii.
we gotta get the viewers.
Yeah, we gotta get the viewers. We gotta. That's the next step. Posting, getting a little clip of that, and like starting to do some marketing for it.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
And we gotta. And it's with the Salma Hayek lookalike, right?
Salma Hayek lookalike.
We gotta get that out there.
But for as far as the bedroom
Get it over
concerned,
to Mr. Skin too.
let's get it. Let's get it there. And then I want to get it to Veronica Rodriguez, and maybe she can get me in. She'll be my next video. But for me, I'm my background in jiu-jitsu. I like leverage. I like angles. I like using gravity, and so I like being in control. I like having, but I don't mind. I don't mind laying there and letting, because some girls, they like to be on top and they like to get that off, and so I'll say, okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
go to work, mama.
But that's
go to
why
work.
it should be that it should switch up. You don't always want to do that. Shit is fucking boring.
No, I like to be on top, and that one is my favorite position, the one on the stomach, whatever that is.
I don't know what that is either.
But I like it because I think I can get an angle, and this might be too graphic for late night right here, but I like to get the angle on the G spot, because you can get a good downward pressure and you got gravity on your side.
Very true. Very true. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah. And if she's squeezing her legs together, then you get a little bit of extra friction. It's a great position. We got to come up with a name for it if there's no name for it
There
already.
is a fucking name for it. We're just horrible. I don't know how we don't know the names for it. But I'm not the type of person either that's like, I like this, so let's do it. It's very much, shit
Let it go.
flows
Let it go.
and,
Yeah.
like, as I dated guys like that, I dated a weird guy that was like, this is what I like. This is what I like to do. And I want to do it like that. Like, and I'm just like, dude, where's the room for just chemistry to take place?
Yeah.
And
It's
like
a dance.
no, there was no dancing. It was like, it was a script, and he had wrote it. He had perfected it. He had it laid down. He was handing it out. Like, I was like, this is too much. So
Yeah.
obviously that relationship didn't work. I ended up having to break up with him.
Poor
I was
guy.
like, I'm bored.
Poor guy. He had his own fantasies and tried to live it out. But okay, so what are some of your fantasies? Speaking of fantasies, what do you fantasize about in that world?
I don't,
Or you just act it out. You don't have to fantasize.
No,
you
I would
make
not
it happen.
act out. There's certain fantasies that I would never act out. Like, for instance, like, I watch, like, gangbang sex. I think sometimes it's hot. But would I ever do it? No. It's literally a mental fantasy. And I think when being in the industry and you have access to, like, you're seeing so many things. So you just start going down rabbit holes, and it's like, you start watching all, you don't even, like, one time when I was at this job that I had, there was an initiation video that they would send to everybody. And it was a video of a girl peeling a banana with her vagina.
Interesting.
And I remember just sitting at my computer and fucking opening up the shit, and I was like, what the entire, like, and they were like, nope, you gotta watch the whole thing, because obviously this is an adult company, because we would not be doing this anywhere else. That would be like a lawsuit. They're like, you have to watch the whole thing. But yeah, she peeled the banana with her vagina and pushed the banana out. Yeah, it was the weirdest.
So it went in?
It went in, and then
came out without the pill. She's talented.
I know, it was insane.
She's got a job in Tijuana today.
It was a cam girl. I was like, I don't even know what the fuck I just watched. I mean, no, it didn't turn me on. I was just like, it was fascinating, though.
That's impressive.
But yeah, no, I would say that's one thing that I watch. I'm never gonna try to go out and seek that or make it happen. It's just, I don't even like that many men for that to happen in real life. I'm like, don't like you, no.
Is there any guys in the industry that you would ever do it? Like, let's say you were on the same set as whoever, King Kong Dong, or I don't know any of these guys, but if there was some guy in the industry There's not one
No.
that you would, not one of them that you
No,
would
no,
say,
no.
okay, that's my hall pass or whatever.
No. I mean, you know what? There's some guys in the industry. I mean, I know so many of them, so it also becomes weird because I start having, relationships with these people, and like I don't want to even watch their content. I'm like, oh, here's my boy. Like,
Yeah.
what's up? I'm like, when their stuff pops up on my thing, it's just weird because I know them, I sit with them, I talk with them. So I actually don't watch their stuff. So no, I for me it's I get asked that all the time too. Like they're like, would you hook up with one of the guys on the talent side? And I'm like, no. With me, sex is a very like I like to own the soul of the people that I'm having sex with. I like us to exchange that energy where it's just like they're mine, I'm taking them in, like, and so the casual thing doesn't always work for me, like at all. Like for some people, it's great and that's the only thing they like, and or they like both. But for me, it's like I need a different level of energy and vibe. I the other stuff, it doesn't really do anything for me mentally. I also like stuff that is a little bit challenging. So for me, everything's like.
Yeah, that would be too easy.
I also don't like somebody who's too wild right away either, because I like a little bit of a challenge. I like when somebody can be a little, even if they're a confident person, maybe they're a little shyer. It's, when it comes to sex, at times. I appreciate that. What about you though? Who's your hall pass besides Veronica Rodriguez?
Man, okay.
Because we've
So,
already heard that.
Yeah, I like her, but I also like Luna Star, if you know who she
Oh
is.
yeah.
Luna's cool.
Yeah. She's hot.
The other one, Canella, she's
I don't know her.
she's cute too. Canella Skins.
Well, once you get this fucking tape out there, if we can get it with enough traction, then you gotta find your next one. Once you, maybe you're a porn star in the making.
I'm shooting for the stars. That's what it is. But Paige Van Zant is one on my list. I don't know if you know who she is. She's a fighter. She's an MMA fighter.
Oh wow.
And I challenged her husband to a fight, for her, online. It was just for having fun. But her husband's also a fighter.
Oh.
And so I teased him. I was online on Instagram. I said, hey, his name's Austin. I said, hey, Austin, let's fight. I'll fight you, and then the winner gets your girl. And he obviously didn't respond. But
I was like, wait a minute.
but I would try
Wait
it.
a minute.
I swung the bat.
Oh my God. Well, maybe you gotta ask both of them to join, then they'll be into it. Would you do a threesome with a guy?
I don't know. I don't know about that question, but I'm not. For Paige, she's. If you've seen her, and I don't.
Paige, you would do it.
Yeah,
For Paige.
And I don't have to.
You know what?
And I don't have to touch the dude. Maybe.
Well, sometimes the dude's just there. Sometimes one's in one hole, one's in the other.
It's very familiar. That's very familiar.
Yeah, the focus is on who it's on. So, it is what it is.
Yeah, for Paige, I would. If he's in the room, that's fine. And that reminds me. So, what about open relationships? Because that's kind of been a trend as of lately. So there's all these open relationships where
yeah.
I see there's a lot of complications that could arise from
Yeah,
that.
for sure.
A lot of mess that could come from that. What is your stance on having an open relationship?
Yeah, it's a hard no for me. I don't really do open relationships. I usually have a pretty deep bond with the person that I'm with. It depends. Like with certain people, when they're asking for open relationships, is it just sexual? Are they looking for sister wives or the relationship to this? It's a very loaded question because it can go so many ways. And I know sometimes, I know couples where, hey, they're in DR and they're like, shit happens. And they're like, oh, they end up having a threesome or whatever. But I don't think that's necessarily having an open relationship if you're not, doing it all the time or seeking another person all the time. But yeah, it's a hard no for me. I'm very I only can focus my energy on one person. My mind's all over the place too. But I make a conscious decision to make somebody feel special. I ain't got the time.
Yeah.
I ain't got the time to be making you feel special. Him, her, Billy, Mike. No, I'd be calling people different names. I can't. It's not. I can't juggle. I show favoritism. I do. That's who I am. Like, whoever's my favorite, they're gonna know it. Like, I'm gonna be like, nah. They're like, you slept in that room 3 nights. I'm like, yo, this is where it's at. Like, I can't spread it out and be with the uglier one more days or the annoying one more. Like, I can't do it. So that's just my personal preference. But Power, I watch these shows. Like, there is a show on TLC called Seeking a Sister Wife. And let me tell you, usually the first season, it was pretty stupid. I didn't watch it. But I think this might be the 3rd season. And they have the most ridiculous people on this fucking series. And one of the couples is this, it's this white guy and his wife, who's also white. And he said he had a dream that God wanted him to have a wife, another wife. And he told her, this is God's plan. Like, they weren't religious when they got together. But he's telling her, this is what God wants. I keep having this dream.
He's shooting his shot.
This is what it is. And so he ends up like, I don't know where she is, but I got to find her. He finds a woman in Brazil who doesn't really speak English. They're talking through like a communicator. She's really sensual. She's really cute, but she's got braces. And I swear she's like 29. I'm like, girl, get an Invisalign. But maybe they don't do that in Brazil.
You know what? It's actually a sign of wealth in some
in those countries. They're like, we're that metal girl. I'm like, oh my God, don't do that at 29. But he ends up, because they can't get her a regular visa because COVID and all that was happening, he ends up convincing his wife to get a divorce so he can go over there and marry her and bring her on the K1 visa. I mean, this woman, the whole time, she's crying. She just like, this is God's plan. This is what he told me. Like, I just gotta trust. I gotta trust that I can't be jealous. He loves me too. And he keeps calling her the big wife and the other one the little wife. And it is just her. And I'm like, okay.
What a mess.
In a lot of situations, it just doesn't work. I know a few people where the man and woman, they're both just super out there. They're just open. They like that shit. Or the really, really religious people. Some of them, it really does work. Because none of them are really in love with each other. It's all like, supposedly they're in love with God. So they're just, going through the motions. And
I actually have a friend in Vegas. He's subscribes to a lot of the old Egyptian culture because he did his genealogy and he goes all the way back to the Egyptian Moors.
Oh my God, I need to know who this person is.
I can introduce you to him.
Yeah.
He's actually a rapper. He's actually.
Oh my God,
anyways,
I love that.
Yeah, and so he believes that his godhood, his kinghood, and he has 3 girls that live with him, and they are all submissive to him. And no joke, and he's the man,
Gives me anxiety.
but they make it work.
I wouldn't call him the man. I wouldn't say that.
In his world, they make it work, and so he's got these 3 women that are all devoted to him. They all work at different jobs, and they all live in one household, and they make it work.
Are they Egyptian?
No,
They're not okay.
No, but I mean,
and he's not religious either. This is just.
Well, he finds the spirituality from Egypt, so his bloodline comes from there.
But I'm saying, because I know a lot of times it works really well with certain religions, that because the wives are that too, and that I'm waiting to see a woman pull in a bunch of men though. I would love to see that because I'm so sick of seeing these shows where it's seeking a sister wife. I want seeking a a brother husband. There we go. That's what I want to see. I want to see a badass bitch with a bunch of men. I want to see a Cleopatra walking around and just or Roxana. I think she was what's her name's husband, King Alexander the Great. So that type of energy with a bunch of, because Egyptian women, I think they used to do that when they were running shit too, and they were tops and the queens of their time. I think they had a bunch of men, which I would love to see that. it's very, I think it annoys me, and it's something also I wouldn't subscribe to, because it's always men trying to push women into it. But if their wife was just like, well, I want you to have a brother husband too, and with this, a lot of them would throw their wives out into the street in a heartbeat. So it's like, nah, fuck you. Oh, God don't want that? Like, yes, he does. He wants Timothy to live with us. He wants all of us to love each other. Love is love. So let's all, you bring a woman, I bring a man. So I'll be open to it probably if my husband says that, just to fuck with them.
Well, and I think that's what it is. It's an open relationship. It's 2021. There's, everybody could all live together. She's got her side guy, and he's got his side chick, and then they all coexist.
Yeah, no.
That wouldn't work.
No, it can't be side pieces when you're doing stuff like this. Then you're not in an open relationship. You're just cheating.
Yeah.
And I try not to cheat. That's why I walk away from relationships. If I'm even thinking to cheat, I'm not into you anymore. The relationship is done once that even happens, or if it comes into my mind enough times, I'm like, I'm not into you at all. So I try not to do that, because I also firmly believe in like karma, and I'm not bringing shit back to me. And so I'd rather just bow out, even if it's going to be difficult for one of us. Like,
yeah, I don't have to worry about that, because I get broken up with all the time.
oh my God. Are you the one that's always getting dumped?
I always, but it's because I'm unavailable. That's why.
Yeah, but it sounds like you want to be unavailable.
No, I'm busy.
A lot of people are busy. People are busy. That's not an excuse. A lot of people are busy.
Yeah, but I do. My day is really full.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. A lot of people are full. They're full. Their day is full. They're doing a lot. They have multiple companies. I dated a guy who, he had custody of his 3 children. One was 18, one was 14, the 14-year-old was a girl, and one was 8. He ran 2 businesses. He ran all this, and 2 big multi like huge businesses with tons of clients, always traveling. I still stayed in communication. You do what the fuck you want to do. At the end of the day, if you want to make time, you make time, period. Like, you can't use those type of excuses, because we have all this technology around us. If you really want to be in communication with somebody, like I said, you can set reminders. You can send stuff. You ain't even got to communicate. Just hit up Snooki's Cookies around the corner real quick. Send some cookies to the house. There it is. There's a card in there. Babe, you great. You sexy. These cookies remind me of you. Whatever. I love baking for people and sending them treats. Or if I don't bake it, just ordering and sending people treats. I love doing that. So that.
Well, you're a sweetheart. I don't think I'm a sweetheart. I don't know if I have that in me.
It makes people feel special. I think that's how I show people love. Like my, not necessarily how I like to receive it, but how I like to give it is like, I like to get people things and send them little things. And I also
You're a gift giver.
Yes. And I give people a lot of like words of affirmation when I'm dating them.
That's what I like. That's what I like to do. I like to praise and build up, build confidence.
Yeah, but you're doing that, and then you're gone for 3 weeks, and they're like, "Yo, what the fuck? You love bomb me for a fucking day, and then you pop the clutch." That's fucking weird. Like, it's like that's a very weird. It's not consistent. It's not sustainable when it's like that. So.
Yeah, I agree with you, but what can you do? What can you do?
Okay, let's keep it moving a little bit here. I want to bring up this Drake cover photo that's been going around, and if you guys haven't seen this yet, the cover photo is a bunch of emojis of women, so all different colors. Some are brown, some are really dark skinned, some are pale, all different color hair, and they're all pregnant.
He's Loverboy. Loverboy Drake, is that was the name of the album or something?
Yeah, hopefully he doesn't turn into Nick Cannon and just start spreading his seed loosely everywhere. But then you had Lil Nas come out then with a like, I guess, a spoof cover, and it was all male emojis and it was different colors, different hair colors, and all the males were pregnant, and I thought it was fucking hilarious. I was reading the comments though, and a lot of people didn't. They were like, "This is the devil!" Like, he upsets a lot of people, which makes me love him even more, because he is just unapologetically himself. And the fact that his sexuality makes so many people so uncomfortable lets me know that they're uncomfortable with their own
Is he
sexuality.
gay? Is Lil Nas gay?
Yes.
Is he? Okay.
Yes,
Or
he is.
bisexual or whatever?
I think he's gay. He may be bi, but I'm pretty sure he's gay. But
The only thing that bothers me about Lil Nas is that there's a big Nas that he's shitting on. What the real Nas?
come on, man, that man's retired. I ain't heard that
No,
from
he
him
just
in years.
dropped a record.
What do you mean? I haven't heard of. Look, let me tell you something.
He dropped a record
let
this
me,
year.
Let me tell you something. I am very pop culture. If I ain't heard about it, I am reality TV pop culture queen. I hear all the gossip. If I don't know about it, that means that motherfucker's become underground, and we don't know about you. Lil Nas has taken over. I don't even know who Big Nas is anymore.
Oh man, maybe I'm holding on to the past.
Yeah,
but
he's not mainstream anymore. I don't even know. I don't even check for him. Once he dated Ashanti, he fell off. They went and had a honeymoon and never came back.
he just did something with Khaled, DJ Khaled.
He ain't,
That was cool.
I ain't heard a thing. That means he is not mainstream anymore. That means he went a little bit underground. He was away for too long. The problem with a lot of the 90s rappers and singers, the music then was really great, and they had quick success, and then they all took this long break. And some of them never some of them
didn't
never
come
came
back.
back,
That's
or
true.
some of them took such a long break that they're kind of underground, because I'm very involved in pop culture. Like, I don't hear, like, somebody was like, oh, so and so had an album. I'm like, who? I'm like, they're around. Like, what? Like, I think somebody said Keisha Cole or something, and I used to love her. I was like, she has an album? You're kidding me, right? Like, they disappeared for way too long, and R&B for some reason became very underground in
it's too bad.
Yeah, so I'm like, I don't even hear these people, because being a artist has changed with social media too. So it's
You gotta
a lot,
have a good 15 seconds of a song,
yeah,
and that's all you need now.
It's a lot different, but I thought what Lil Nas did was genius, and I think that he bothers so many. Like, it's so annoying because you see people like T.I. and all these people taking some like fucking holier than thou, like, stance on the stuff Lil Nas do, or when he had a video where he was dancing very sensually, giving a lap dance to the devil. I mean, I just, this
Oh
man,
yeah, Montero, he was big.
Oh,
That was huge.
I know, I love him.
But he pushes the envelope, and it's shock value, and it works.
But he's also, his craft is good, and I like his vibe. His music still isn't. It's not like he's just pushing the envelope, and I think his shit is trash. He's pushing the envelope, and I'm also a fan of his art. And then you have people like T.I. and these motherfuckers talking shit and acting like this is some disrespectful, unholy shit. And I'm like, excuse me, T.I., with your drugging women, raping women, you and your wife doing all this, abusing your power with people, having sex outside of marriage, all that shit. You can't be Christian when it's convenient. If you think something is a sin, look at all your sins too. You know what I mean? I don't believe in that shit. I'm spiritual. I don't believe in necessarily everything in the Bible. I think, the telephone game is real, and you're not going to tell me that everything written was written down right, and you can't convince me. I just know human beings. I know we're power hungry. I know when we get power, we change the narrative. Yeah, and I know we hear what the fuck we want to hear. And I know a lot of people didn't speak the same language. So you went and told Tony something, and he translated it the way he thought he could. Look, but a lot of people, I get it. Like, I know a lot of people are very religious, and I respect that. But at the end of the day, you can't pick and choose. But I hate when people try to take that holier than thou stance. And then it's like the people judging, they have more skeletons in their closet than the fucking devil himself, if I believed in the devil. So,
yeah.
So I'm like,
You know what, too, though, I think within that, I mean, I'm an old school hip hop junkie, and those guys, there's a lot of homophobic ideology that comes with the 90s hip hop.
Yeah, that's because they want the D. All of them want the D.
Yeah,
well, and when you want the D, it scares you. So I understand.
There's a lot of rumors. There's a lot of rumors about Eminem being gay. There's a lot of rumors about dudes from Naughty by Nature being gay.
All these men have probably fucked around. It's not acceptable to admit it, but I'm pretty sure a lot of them have.
Slick Rick,
Yeah.
one of my favorites. I've heard rumors about him, and I hate to hear stuff like that
I mean, why? It's just
because
at
it
the
ruins
core,
them as a ladies' man. It ruins them as a ladies' man, doesn't it?
Well, if you subscribe to the patriarch, I guess. At the
Well,
end,
his smoothness.
no,
Slick Rick is so smooth.
No, you can still be smooth. The masculinity of a man, I swear, it's as thin as a hair. It's crazy that anything can take it away. It's like, oh, you sneeze like feminine. You're no longer a man. It's stupid. I don't subscribe to it. You can still be a ladies' man, even if you got your dick sucked one time by a man. Look, at the end of the day, sex is animalistic. And we like to act like it's not, but it is. And that's why when a lot of these men go to prison, a lot of shit happens. And they just start, the things shift. There becomes a hierarchy of men in there too. And what happens in there happens in there. Because sex is, there's a difference between just, sex is an animalistic act. But there's also a difference between, that animalistic act and, being straight and gay or bi. Like when you are actually bi, you actually want to have a relationship and partnership with a man or a woman. It's different from just wanting to, oh, fuck it, I was horny.
So
shit happened.
when does the monogamy and the relationship and the spirituality, when does that come into play and trump and beat the primal urge of the animalistic urge?
But that's determined by the individual. They got to explore themselves. Because at the end of the day, things can, a guy, people share a lot with me. I hold a lot of secrets in the vault. A guy could do something in prison because, he was in there for 7 years and something happened. But that person is like, I've never been into men, but that fucking happened. It doesn't define him at all. He wants to be with a woman, but sex at times can be this animalistic act and stuff can just happen. Now, if you're thinking like, I actually love I want to be with this person, I would actually like to date a man or woman, then you're like bi, or then you're either gay or straight. That's different. A lot of, you even see, I think there's a museum in New York. I think it's New York. And it's like, it's the weirdest museum. It's like an animal museum. And it shows like animals in the wild. They're like having threesomes and doing all that. Because it's such an animalistic act and shit just happens. It's just like you can see an animal licking somebody else's balls. Like it just happens. It just happens sometimes,
Can I use that as an excuse? Can I use that as an excuse if I'm with another woman? Can I say,
no, if you're in a committed relationship and you're not in an open relationship, then no, it can't be an excuse.
All right, well.
I'm sorry, no. But I thought that was genius, what Lil Nas did there. I love that he keeps pushing the envelope, making people uncomfortable, making great music, making great art, showing that men can be sensual. He's so sensual. When I saw him dancing, I was just like, you know what? I would love to see a straight man own his body like this. It shouldn't just be that I only see, certain like gay men feeling comfortable doing that. I would love to see some straight men owning their bodies like that. And
I bet you LeBron could do that. LeBron's an athlete; he could do that.
I don't know. He's a little big and tall. I don't know how he moves.
He might be able to. He's got.
I don't know how much he's like.
He's got finesse. He can finesse a little Nas dance routine.
I don't know about that. But yeah, no, I really I'm really a big fan of his, and I love Drake too. He's one of my favorites.
What's up with the Drake Kanye beef? What's that all about?
I can't. I'm one of the few, and I'm probably gonna get hate for this. Like Kanye really gets on my nerves. Like he's that typical toxic Gemini.
Is he a Gemini?
Yes.
Kanye?
And he's so toxic. He's not. He doesn't
no wonder
have
he's
that.
Crazy.
He doesn't have that Tupac energy. Where Tupac was.
Alpha
Tupac's
male.
was. He was kind of lower. He was lower vibrational in certain ways, but he was also. His spirit was higher vibrational, but his mind was at times lower vibrational, and his emotions were lower vibrational, but his spirit wasn't. And so, you can see that in his work. With Kanye, he literally thinks he is God. He's so toxic, and I don't know if he's a narcissist, but because I don't want to diagnose anybody, but he definitely shows a lot of the traits, and he's very self-centered. and if he does have those traits, everybody worshiping him and nobody standing up to him doesn't help. Is he kind of great at pushing the limit and being a creative artist? Yeah, to a certain extent, but he's also very toxic. He puts a lot of bad things out there for the sake of shock value.
But that's what Nas is doing. That's what Lil Nas is doing.
No. When he's criticizing, when he's coming in talking about slavery was a choice. When
I remember when he said that.
In the same breath, he's crying. He's crying about how he got lipo because people called him fat, and now he had to get he was crying about that on the radio. But he thinks that he would be able to survive what his ancestors went through. And you were crying over somebody saying that you look like you gained 10 pounds. Try the emotional abuse, physical abuse, get all this other stuff. Like your family, people too. Being killed that you love in front of your kids being taken away, somebody raping your wife.
In front of you, raping your wife in front of you.
Like Kanye, you would, it's an insult. You would, I think people also think people underestimate too, I think because the people that run this country, a lot of them unfortunately try to downplay slavery so much that even certain black people forget how bad it was and how much it's still affecting, how much the effects are still around. So I don't know. I just making statements like that it's not cool. It's embarrassing. It's disappointing. And then during the election, running for president, when we're in such a crucial time, first you're supporting Trump, then you're running again, you're trying to divide the vote even more in a crucial time. And it's just he's so self-centered to me. On that note, I do love his wife. I love Kim. I love her. I love the.
Well, I think she slept with Drake though. I think that's what the beef is.
Get it, Kim. He's fine as hell. And you know what? Drake is sensual and girl, I get it. I get it. I would have did it too. It probably was before Kanye, but get it, girl.
Well,
I think they're doing.
I think all of this is brilliantly contrived. I think Kanye's a genius at the end of the day.
Oh God, stop using that word loosely, please.
No, because
you're not a. Do you know what it takes to being a genius? If you look it up in the dictionary, he does not fit that. Being an artist and being a cool artist and a creative artist, yes.
But he compares himself to Picasso.
He's not.
And Picasso was crazy too.
No.
Van Gogh was really crazy.
I don't think Picasso is a genius. I think he was an artist that made art that certain people in that era they were in liked. And I think Kanye is the same. He's no genius. The words that come out of his mouth are not inspiring. He is no Tupac. He is no he is no Rumi. We're not giving him that genius thing. Is he a creative artist? Absolutely. Do I like his creativity? I do. But as a whole, do I really like him? No. He's more. I did like his visuals for some of the stuff that he did.
Oh yeah, he's got some amazing.
Yeah. So as an artist, yeah, I think that's cool. I like how a lot of people don't have the money to put behind what he does in his shows, but luckily he does, and I like that because some people get the money and they still don't do that. So I like that he puts a big budget into making the show a real experience. That is cool. That's a great performer. He's a good performer. He's a great artist, creative artist. He would be a great creative director of other people's sets. But genius, absolutely not. That's
but if
that's a hard title to that's a heavy crown to don, and he ain't. I'm not putting it on that big old head of his.
Could you give him give him a marketing genius? Could you give him that credit? Because if this is contrived, if this beef between him and Drake is contrived to both sell records, because they're both coming out with records on the same day, yeah. If it is a genius ploy to get us to all talk about them and go out and decide which record's better, and also when he did the religious album, I think that's a marketing ploy too, because that's one.
Let me just say this. I'm not gonna give him the crown of marketing genius either, because Kanye does not work alone.
You almost called him Jesus. You
I
almost
know.
called him Jesus.
You know, you've been trying to brainwash us all. Look, I almost fucked up. Jesus Christ. Like, God damn it. This motherfucker's team is good. He has a team. It's not just him. So, no, I'm not giving him that crown. He's the artist. He is in the forefront. So, yes, all props go to him. But there are a lot of people that are on that team that could probably take that crown of marketing genius, and I'm not gonna put it on his head. I think he's assembled a great team, and I think, being a toxic Gemini, I think he's a great talker. So he's I will give him that. They're always good at blabbling, and I'm a Gemini rising, so I can be a little toxic myself sometimes. So I say that with passion and love.
Speaking of feminine energy and Tupac, I've seen some video of Tupac young when he was a thespian in the Bay Area. Okay.
A thespian?
Yeah, when he was going to be an actor. He's going to be an actor, and he had some very feminine energy.
But you insult him? You called him a thespian? Rewind it back.
No, thespian is a theater person. It means a theater person. Okay. Not a lesbian, a thespian. Somebody who's I
thought you were calling a thug with a lesbian mix. And I was like, yo, don't be making up these terms, trying to insult somebody, yo.
No, but he had that energy, and even I think a lot of his energy was great, but I think a lot of it was fraudulent.
Well, he's acting. You said theater. So yeah, I think that's acting.
I think he's acting as a thug, because his first stuff with Digital Underground was because his mom was a Black Panther, and it was very pro-Black, very Afrocentric and amazing.
I get what you're saying.
And so I'm saying then all of a sudden he shifts into this other person to appease Suge.
Well, 100%. I'm gonna agree with you on this, mainly because if you obviously you do know this because you're in the rap game yourself, and you're engulfed in this business. But rap started out as like this political, like deep movement, and the music vets, they didn't want those type of people. They wanted NWAs. They wanted that. So that was when they got signed, and they were looking for that. And Tupac's always been a performer. So he saw an opportunity, and he got caught up so much in a role that it didn't go well. Yeah,
it became real.
It became real. It's almost like what I would call method acting. You see it, a lot of people do it. I feel like I used to do it myself when I dabbled in theater when I was younger. You get so caught up in a role, and you become that person. And I think he was just good at what the fuck he did. And I think being a person, especially a Black person, there weren't a lot of opportunities if you wanted to be in theater or whatever. Even me, when I used to love theater when I was younger, but when I was going for roles, like, for instance, like, what was one of the things we were doing? I think we were playing a Disney movie. It might have been Snow White or something like that. But obviously, I was always one of the best, but I could never have the lead roles because I was not white. So I would always get like, they're like, Jasmine's so good though. Let's make her the narrator. You know what I mean? I would get like that role or whatever because they wanted to use me. So I in a lot of the movies that I did love growing up, they never featured somebody that looked like me. So I think I always say, like, God, I would hate to be like the roles that I would have to go after. They were like boys in the hood and this and that. And yes, they do tell a lot of stories of like Black Americans that did grow up in those type of environments, but that is not the only. Black Americans don't just grow up in the hood, and they don't just but that's the story that the media wants to tell. So that's mainly what we put out there. So I think he got caught up in a role. He was good at it, and it's unfortunate. It ended up like costing him his life. But I thought he was, it would have been amazing to have somebody like that around, especially with somebody like Kanye being around. Because, I think Kanye, if he could take his head out of his ass, it's so far in there. I mean, it's like the neck is up there too. If he could take it out and he could, I think Kanye needs to do a humble trip. Like, he needs to take a year off and go on a sabbatical. Like, he needs to be in Thailand with the monks. Like, nobody's praising him. Nobody's coming up to him, you know. He needs to do something like that and really, I think then, you know, he's going to raise his vibration. And then I would be like, wow, like, you know, I think he could become somebody that is like, aspire to be a roomie status of his lifetime. But the way he is now, he's lower vibrational, and it's just like kind of toxic. I'm just like, oh, he's a disappointment to me. I love his wife though. I think all the stuff she does, while being dynamic and still being like sexy and this and that, she still does so much philanthropy and all this other stuff. And I'm just like, to me, her shit isn't for show. It doesn't feel like that. His stuff feels like that to me. So, and my feelings are 99% of the time right. So.
Well, some people are attention seekers though, and I think Kanye fits that mold to a T.
Oh, 100%. I agree. I do want to segue really quick into the fight with Jake Paul and Tyrone Woodley. I honestly, of course, I know who Jake Paul is. He's like an obnoxious YouTuber.
Yeah.
And then Tyrone Woodley, I don't really know him that well. I know you said he was a football player, but I
No, UFC. He was the champ.
Oh, he was a UFC champ?
Yeah,
well,
five-time champ.
He got beat by Jake Paul.
Yeah, he did. He did.
I honestly didn't watch the fight, but you know what I did watch? I watched their sit downs.
Oh yeah.
And I was dying. You know, Jake Paul is a clown. I don't know what sign he is, but he's a fucking clown. He's sitting there and, you know, they're seeing who's tougher, but then Jake starts throwing him off. Like, when the guy's like, so why'd you want to fight him? He's like, you know, he just has a nice booty.
Yeah, I heard that.
I want to grab it.
That's crazy.
Like, and the guy was sitting there like, what? Like, he didn't even have nothing to say. He was like, yo, did you not see that booty? I see it moving around. And all I was thinking was, I was like, I just went to the comment section afterwards because I knew it was going to make other people uncomfortable. But, you know, he cracks me up. Like, obviously, he's like a meathead and he's an idiot. But there's
a lot of psychological stuff that goes into fighting. And he was trying to get into his head.
He did. Because the guy was so like, you ain't about that. Like, he was so tough. And then he was like.
Yeah, he had his glasses on the whole time.
He didn't have nothing to say after that. He got quiet. I was like, yo, he knew. He was probably so paranoid, like, this guy gonna try to get my ass. I gotta fuck him up. And, you know, I didn't even watch the fight because I don't know what I was doing. I probably was out. But I just looked to social media to see who won. And I was like, oh, and Jake Paul beat you.
Well, he won.
After telling you wanted that booty. So I was like, did he get the booty? Was what I wanted to know.
Well, Jake
probably.
Well, he has to get a tattoo. He has to get a tattoo on him that says, I love Jake Paul. Now, that was part of the bet.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, luckily he's a little bit dark skinned, so he can get us somewhere we might not see it. Thank God.
But in all honesty, during the fight, you know, I'm into fighting and into the sports, and I watch it my whole life. And Tyrone looked very tentative and he looked very hesitant, but it was a huge payday for him, and the fight previous looked like it was fixed, and so this fight could easily have been fixed to where they build up Jake Paul's brand, and Tyrone is my age. He's ready to retire. He's been a champ. He's fought.
I thought he was an NFL. I didn't know he was a UFC fighter.
Yeah. Oh, he's a bad dude. And the one time that he rocked him, he really caught him. And if he would have kept pushing the issue, he probably would have knocked him out. But he didn't. And so it makes me think that he kind of threw that fight, you know, because it doesn't make any money for anybody if Tyrone Woodley wins that fight. But if Jake Paul wins that fight, he keeps going and it keeps snowballing.
Money talks.
Yeah.
So
and he paid him. The money came from Jake Paul. He made sure that Tyrone was.
You know who I want to see Jake Paul fight? Mike Tyson.
Oh, he'd be toast.
I think Mike Tyson might bite him. I mean, I would just be interested to see that. I mean, Mike Tyson scares me. He has my birthday, and I just think cancer men are psychopaths.
You have the same birthday as Mike?
Yeah, and I think cancer men, they scare me. They especially if they're lower vibrational, they scare me.
But he's brilliant. Mike's brilliant, too. If you've ever heard him talk, when he's not upset, he's brilliant. He says some very profound things.
I haven't listened to him too much. I think I mean I've seen him in movies and I've heard a few things that he said, but anything that made me go wow. But I think he's an interesting man. I will say that, and I think you know I could see myself. I mean, I would never be a boxer because I could see myself doing some of the stuff he did though. Like I can see just going to a dark place in the ring. But I would like to see, him and Jake Paul. But I don't know if he would. He's retired, right? So, but Jake Paul, go after him next. Mike Tyson.
So should we play this game? Never have I ever?
We're gonna play that next time, and we're gonna play it with a model.
Okay.
Because next time we're gonna have a guest or some guest. Maybe it won't be a model. It's gonna be a couple of people that are in the adult industry, and we'll play that game. And we're gonna have probably some tequila on the table.
Oh,
we can't do it with these. Yeah, it's gonna be a drinking game. So we might have to start it a little earlier than this.
Okay, perfect.
But thanks for listening, guys, and go over to ItsMii to find your favorite creator. And until next time, it's ItsMii Unlocked.